Well, well. Want to hear what it's like to be a federal employee right now? Thank dog we've got a Coven meeting to help me balance my brain. And hey, better listen closely to the Two Skeptical Chaps promo in this episode, because this is the last episode you'll hear it. They just blessed us with some new footage to craft into a fabulous, sparkling new promo featuring all three of the Skeptical Chaps. But first, some venting about current events. The coup is coming from inside the house! Welcome to Pitney and Amelia's Bitchin' Boutique!
We may be awful, but
we're right. God, you're such an old man.
God damn it.
God damn it. God. And this is you not smoking anymore. And
I
you're
know,
coughing
it's
this
just
much.
like, oh God.
Dude. Oh my God. And I'm hydrating. I'm being a good girl. I'm hydrating. I took a migraine pill right before I ate my dinner, so I may take another one before bed. It's just that kind of a fucking day.
I think that's good.
It's that kind of a day, that kind of a week. Has it been a month yet?
I was going to say that kind of a year, and we're only 6 weeks in.
I mean, if you start it with the fucking inauguration, it's been 4? No, it hasn't been 4 weeks. It's been 3 weeks since the inauguration. I have to peek at a calendar.
Was it the 6th or was it the 10th?
The 20th.
Oh, was it that late? Okay.
So it's 1, 2, 3.5 weeks when we're this is the 12th of February when we're recording.
Oh God.
Normally it's not necessary, but because we're trying to count weeks.
It feels like it's been 20 years.
My shit didn't even start until the second week of the fucking administration. God damn it.
Yeah, because I've been reading all that horse shit about goddamn Trump and shit-eating Musk and how it's affecting federal employees. And of course, I was thinking about you, and we've talked about that a lot, personally.
Yeah.
But it's also like, just like every day is something, and I'm like, that's so stupid, and I don't understand.
Let's call Greenland red, white, and blue land.
Oh,
let's call,
God.
It's like, just let them rename things, because they're not really renaming anything, and let them just waste their time with that shit and stop fucking with people's jobs.
Well, and I read an article, and it was really interesting about how, and it was like something talking about some other dictator. And I don't remember. It wasn't Hitler. It wasn't the big one, right? It
wasn't Mussolini.
It wasn't Mussolini.
Pol Pot.
Who knows who? But anyway.
Idi Amin.
But I read some article about how, like, one of the things that he did was to make all this stupid fucking shit, aka the Gulf of America, and
right.
Blah, 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 just to create a sensation in the media so people would ignore what they're really doing, which is what Musk is doing.
Right.
And I think that's going on now.
Oh, yeah, because Musk is the real fucking president, and nobody fucking elected him. And he's absolute garbage. Everything he's doing, I just, in case some people haven't noticed, just every time he goes after an agency, like directly, not like as an all-employee email thing, but like, I'm going to go shut down them, and I'm going to shut down them. It's always an agency some part of them has been investigating him for some bullshit. Mm-hmm. Like, say, he needs to get permission, like, he has to, like, jump through a lot of hoops to fire off one of his stupid exploding rockets, and he doesn't like rules. He doesn't like having to wait. If he wants to blow up a rocket this morning, then he wants to just go blow up a rocket right now. Why do I have to wait until someone says I can? I'm rich. I can do whatever the fuck I want. These are my toys and I'm going to play with them. And he's just...
I know.
He doesn't understand how the world works because he doesn't live in it. And he doesn't care... He doesn't even understand how the people at his so-called companies, which, he invests money, and he has so much money that he can throw money all over the place, and the ones that work, the ones that stick, those are the ones we hear about. All the money he loses, we don't hear about that. The only reason why he looks like such a success is because he's managed to talk a lot of people into thinking that his cars aren't garbage. And he also just takes what other people are already doing, slaps his own, buys a company or invests really heavily and takes it over, and then acts like it was all his idea. And he does that everywhere he goes.
And I gotta
everything he's ever known for, he stole from someone else.
And I live in Tesla Central.
Not as much as, because he's here now.
Oh, I know he's there now, yep.
I'm surrounded everywhere I go. There's fucking Tesla buildings.
Oh, God, I know.
Big Tesla branded electric car stations, for charging.
But God damn it. But every time I see one on the side of the road, and I've seen several.
Oh, of the new ones?
That are just that are just stopped.
Yep.
That are bright, and I'm just like, asshole. You rich, yuppie asshole. Techie son of a bitch,
Oh my God, it's just the and the thing is, you're not buying it because it's so utilitarian. You're buying it because it's a Tesla. You're buying it because everyone will notice you. You're buying it because you're a small, sad little man.
Yeah, and that used to be a thing, but now it's going to be really interesting to see, because that used to be a thing, to buy it as a status symbol.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be interesting to see, and I did actually see somebody driving in a Tesla with a bumper sticker that said, I bought this before I knew how crazy Elon was.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. I've heard people who bought them early on who were like, if I had waited and found out from other people that these cars are shitty. I mean, not like a Cybertruck, but like a regular Tesla car.
Yeah.
Like people going, it's cool that it's electric and everything, but there's lots of other electric vehicles out there. When it used to be kind of the only thing, that was different. But now it's like people are like, if we have a really hard rainstorm, if you don't have a garage to park it in, they leak really bad, you're
talking about those fucking Tesla trucks, yeah. God.
But even the regular cars leak.
It's really?
Not like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you try to run through a car wash and, you may not be able to charge it for a while because it's kind of like dropping your phone in the toilet. You gotta wait. You gotta put the Cybertruck in a bunch of rice so that, the charging port can dry out completely. I don't know. I hate him. He's fucking garbage. I'm so tired of every news. Every time I open everything, his fucking face is looking at me.
I know.
I cannot take his fucking... I would rather look at Trump at this point. I would rather see Trump's stupid face than his stupid face.
I'm so tired of it. You'll know what picture I'm talking about. That one picture they always show of him looking smarmy, putting on his sunglasses.
Oh, God.
Do you remember? You know what picture I'm talking about?
I think so.
And it's just like, oh my God, are you like some fucking queen on the runway? Or like what? Yeah, it's so... That one.
The only picture
but that
of him
says it all.
that I can stand to look at, because I pull them up every once in a while just to make myself laugh, are when he had a big fucking rodeo themed whatever over here at the Gigafactory, which is right by my house. And he had this big event over there, and he was walking around in a black cowboy hat that he was wearing backwards. And nobody told him to turn his fucking hat around. So there's so many pictures of him all day in that fucking hat that he's wearing backwards.
See, that's so fabulous.
And it's so... Those pictures are... Mwah, those pictures are excellent. Because that tells me that even the people who work for him hate his fucking guts.
Oh, you know it. You know it.
Classic horror stories from the age of old-time radio and spoken word vinyl have always been celebrated for their excellence. There's a retro horror podcast by Edward October, inspired by that same excellence. It is Octoberpod AM, and like all classic spook shows, it's handcrafted and delicately curated for listeners with analog sensibilities. For classic horror of impeccable taste, listen to Octoberpod AM bi-weekly, wherever you get podcasts. This old-school horror podcast doesn't come from the pumpkin patch, but it was created by a man who did. Octoberpod AM. Retro horror for bold individualists. OctoberPodVHS.com.
But anyway, so I am fortunate that he and his butt buddy Trump is not affecting me directly. I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah.
But this shit is affecting you and your husband like mighty fucking directly.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah. Our whole lives.
Fuck are you feeling about this? Yeah, like what is going on?
Yeah. So, for people who don't know, my husband and I are both federal workers, and we both are among the million or so people who got the fork in the road email that has been talked about in the news. And, you know, it's like, I really, it's aggravating. On the one hand, it's aggravating that the news isn't talking about it more because, like you said, you know, with, you know, Gulf of America and all that other bullshit, and him going to the Super Bowl and all those other things. There's so many things. There's other things for the media to talk about, like just slashing things and
so
being
much,
a general.
Yeah, so much.
Tyrant.
We can't even get into it. So much.
But like, even when they were talking about what's happening to me and a million or so other federal employees, they never had the full story, and they definitely, what they did have, they weren't understanding it. So like, nobody reported it correctly. So I do feel like people need to know, and because I am anonymous, I'm going to go into some detail. I'm not going to go into huge amounts because I don't want this coming back. Because really, when you work for the federal government, no matter what agency you work for, really, you're not supposed to go around. I mean, this is my podcast. It's not the media. But, and also, nobody listens. But hey, if you want your friends to listen to a federal employee talking about what's really going on out there, this might be a good episode to have them listen to.
I know that you're Amelia Lobby Bar who works highest security level at the Pentagon. So, you know.
When I was a little kid, when I was a little bitty kid, I used to run around the Pentagon because my father worked there back when you didn't have like this super high security thing and people could just go in and out, and my dad would take me to his office and I would sit in his office and color and all these like, I mean, my dad used to like have meeting with like Department of Defense, like high ranking Department of Defense people. And, you know, whoever was in charge of the army and whatnot, you know, back then. And I'm sitting in his office with a coloring book. So, yeah, you know, I've always had federal service in my blood, you know. But I will say that I am, not only am I one of the people that received the most offensive and insulting and bullshit email ever sent. I will also say that after several days of talking it over with my husband, we are among the, like when you see in the news when they say how many people responded to the email, we're two of them. We responded with the word resign, which is all you had to do to resign your job. Have we resigned? Not yet. Because we're still working. We still have to work, even though we don't want to. But, you know, we have to get like our retirement and everything activated so that, and they better fucking pay. They better fucking pay until the end of September. And I will just jump in and say this, because I did get news right before we jumped on to our call here. And the judge who was putting it on like a temporary hold while he read through everything.
Yeah.
The judge decided that he's not gonna stop it. Because there was this possibility that the judge was gonna just throw it out.
I remember that.
Because it was such
too many people had resigned, so like what the fuck?
But we said the word resign. I mean, I was joking all along, like, what if I say resign, but I accidentally make a typo and I hit send? Did I really resign? Like, if I spelled it wrong? If I used a font that they didn't like? Were they gonna... When my husband did it, he made it big and bold and bright red. So he basically yelled the word resign.
Good. And he was like, fuck you, motherfuckers. Good. Good.
Yeah. I was a little more restrained. I was seething when I did it. And I actually had to get on a call with someone and share my screen with them. And I had it on my screen. And they were like, come on. I've already done mine. Come on, just do it. Because like a bunch of people all got on a call and they all were like, okay, 1, 2, 3, go. And they all pushed their send button at the same time. And they were like, go, come on, just hit the button. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing it, you know.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. I mean, it was, but after I did it, I felt kind of elated. Like, yeah, fuck you. But the thing is, everything leading up to that and everything since it got frozen, and it's been a week and a half since they froze it. And we've been just like, what's going on? What the fuck is going on? So not knowing made it that much worse, because I can't plan to, one of the things that has to factor into mine is that I was getting very close to being eligible to retire at full retirement, but I wasn't quite there yet. But it's not worth it to me to wait until next year to retire.
Well, and you may not even have that option.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, I mean, but next year I could do it because you can if you're fully eligible to retire, you can just go, I've pushed the button, I've filled out all the forms, I'm retiring, that's my last day. And they can't stop you. With me, I had to wait, because when they sent the first email out, it didn't have any provisions for people like me who wanted to fuck off, but who weren't fully able to retire at that moment.
Yeah.
And they had to put special phrasing in there where they were offering early retirement to people like me. So they, and people, I want to make this really, really clear. People in the media were talking about that they were offering us a buyout. There is no buyout. A buyout means here's a big pile of money if you go away. That's a buyout.
Yeah.
What we were given was, you're going to continue to receive paychecks until the end of the fiscal year. I guess from some semi-legal sense, it's, well, the agency already budgeted to pay you through the end of the fiscal year. Yeah. So you can keep receiving those paychecks. And then you retire on that day. Like, you're officially gone on that day. Like, all the paperwork will be in, but you're just not working.
Yeah. And just let me for one
Yeah,
second,
no.
let me interject. So when I read about that, yeah, I mean, it all sounds good on paper, and I understand the fiscal
That's why we didn't believe it.
blah, blah, blah. It sounds great, right?
Yeah, yeah.
My thing is, I don't have one little iota of trust
No.
in with fucking Donald Trump.
Well, the thing is, this
Or
didn't really
Elon
come
Musk
from him. It came from Elon Musk.
says, and I'm wondering if they're duping all these people, including you, and you ain't gonna get shit. And they're gonna come up with some fucking thing. Oh, we don't have the money, blah, blah, blah. That's what worries me.
Well, the thing is that the Treasury Department already has allotted money to pay the employees that they have. And they're not hiring any new people.
Well, yeah, of course.
Not,
they have to have it or they wouldn't. Yeah.
I mean, the money is there. And it's already allotted to come to me in 2-week intervals, a certain amount every 2 weeks. So there's no real, the fact that it goes to the end of the fiscal year, there's some logic to it, even though if you're going to whine about government waste, but you're going to make it so, oh no, don't work. Because originally they were saying, you can work or not work. It doesn't matter. You're getting administrative leave. So do whatever you want. I remember
that. Yeah.
But then we got a thing saying, well, you need to turn in all your stuff by February 28th. Like your laptop, because I work at home, right? We have laptops and docking stations and all this accoutrement that was issued to us by the government that we have at home, that we keep safe, that we, and then we have to, but they're saying we have to turn that all in by February 28th. Well, I wouldn't be able to work if I don't have my laptop. Because even if I went into the office, I would be working on this computer. So they keep changing the rules on us. And there's lots of things. All that shit about going back into the office. There's a lot of people who think that people like me are quitting because we don't want to go back into the office. That has nothing to do with it.
No, you're quitting because you don't want to work under fucking Adolf Hitler too.
Yeah, well that's a big part of it. Because part of what they wrote, and I have snippets of the email here. I will say that a lot of what they wrote was shit like the substantial majority. Okay, this is the return to, there's 4 pillars that are how things are going to go. The first one is return to office. And it says the substantial majority of federal employees who've been working remotely since COVID will be required to return to their physical offices 5 days a week. I don't have one. It was taken away from me because this, where I'm sitting right now, is my physical office.
Yeah,
they
that's
took
true.
our offices away from us so that they could be given to other employees, so that they could staff as much as they needed, but we didn't all have to sit in that fucking building where there isn't enough room for us. When I work at home, they aren't paying to air condition or heat me. They aren't paying the light bill. They aren't paying for the fucking toilet paper.
Yeah.
So they aren't paying for my internet access, my high-speed Wi-Fi and everything that I need in order to work at home. There were people who used to work with me, like at the first time when people were first sent home for the evacuation at COVID. There were people who did the job that I do, who didn't even have reliable internet at home. That's why they never did work at home, because they could only do their job in the office. They could have worked at home, part of the time, like 80% of the time, but they worked in the office 100% of the time because that's where the good internet was.
You should sue and try to sue them for retroactive repayment for all the internet bills since then.
Oh my God. But the thing is, it's like these federal buildings. A lot of cities don't even that have big offices are renting buildings. Like, remember that time that plane hit the building in Austin that had several floors of IRS employees?
Yeah.
That was a rented building. That was just regular, like a building with for lease office space in it. The IRS just had some floors of offices in there. There's lots of places all over this city that are just nondescript office space, that little pockets of it are being rented by the federal government.
Interesting.
And when people could work at home and they don't need as much space because I pay for this space because it's my house, then they have more space in the buildings they do own and they can just shove everybody in there. And that's kind of what they've been doing. And there is nowhere for anybody to go.
Yeah.
The Bitchin' Boutique.
Yes.
I think we need to give them a thing, Spike. We can give them a drop that they can play on their
Yes,
show.
I think we've got to find some time and get
I
time
think we
to
should
do
it
that.
right now. I think we should do it right now. Look, I'll show you how easy it is, Spike. Watch this. I'm just going to do it live.
Okay, do it live.
Like that bloke screams. I'm just going to do it live. Watch this. Hi, this is Dr. Dan from the Two Skeptical... I can't do it now. Look, I can't speak. Too much pressure. I'll try again. Take 52. Hi, this is Dr. Dan from the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast, and you are listening to the most bitchin' boutique. See? That was easy, wasn't it?
Okay.
They could send us one, we could play it in ours. There you go.
Yeah.
Right, you do it.
Yeah.
Right, off
What
you
do you
go.
want me to say?
Whatever comes to mind.
Hi, this is Spike from the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast, who ain't no bitch, but you're listening to the Bitchin' Boutique.
Oh, that was good. I hope they use that. Let's see if they cut it and put it in their next show.
Diplomatic community.
But as is always true when someone is a fucking moron, but they think they're a genius, when someone is dumb, they think they know everything. But if someone is genuinely smart, they know they don't. A smart person would ask questions. A smart person would not make a big sweeping statement about what the entire federal government was going to do from this point forward based on their limited experience of having an actual job. Also, actual job in companies that suck and that produce products that suck.
Yeah.
PayPal, thank you. So many things. It's like, So,
Anyway, yeah.
that was one thing. Performance culture. The federal workforce should be comprised of the best America has to offer. I am the best America has to offer,
Yeah,
you
hello.
fucking chode. We will insist on excellence at every level. And it's like, you do understand that we are evaluated on our performance every year. If our performance sucks, I mean, there's like different, like any other job.
Yeah, but that's just like right there with normal employment bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And he's
Yeah,
not going to make it any different. I mean, he keeps going on and on about how, well, finally, you guys are going to be held to a standard. It's like, dude, we're held to an extremely high standard. Like, for example, I'm a regular American taxpayer, but I don't have the option of filing my return late. I don't have the option of accidentally making a mistake. Even if all I did was work in the mail room.
That's right, yeah.
Even if I only opened the envelopes in the mail room, I would be treated as though I were a fucking accountant and I should know everything about tax law and my tax return should be early and perfect. Because if you're an employee, you're held to a much higher standard than the entire rest of the population. So fuck this guy. And I mean, we have to, like, they're tippy-toeing through everyone's private information. People are like, the IRS already does that. even if I had access, I have had jobs where I had access. I could just go in there and look at anybody's.
Yeah.
But I can't because that's not my job. That's not anybody's job. And there are so many rules. And it's not like your manager will give you a slap on the hand. It's you lose your job, you get fined, and you go to fucking prison.
Yeah.
Remember back when everyone was like, I want to see Donald Trump's tax returns. I don't understand why someone at the IRS doesn't just give us Donald Trump's tax returns.
Yeah, I know, because you can't.
It's like, would you protect me? Would you, am I supposed to risk my entire life so you can see someone's tax return? Fuck you. That is not acceptable. We take a fucking oath of office, and we're very serious about it. Unlike Elon Musk, who hasn't taken shit. He doesn't even work here. He's like,
and that's what fascinates me, and I think that's on purpose.
How has it gone on this long without the entire rest of the government standing up?
That fascinates me. Yeah,
and which I'll go into something else, because this is one of the things people would want to know. Because I mean, I got on Reddit. There's a whole federal news section of Reddit where all these federal employees are just venting and being pissed off and seeing what other people are doing. And everyone is saying, no, you hold the line. You keep your job. You don't let them bully you. And it's like, I understand why some people would feel that way. I cannot work there anymore.
Yeah.
I can't. And if they think that I didn't think long and hard about it, fuck that. Because I love my job. I fucking love it. And I worked really hard to get the position that I have right now. And I've only been in this position for like 5 years. And I've had a career that's 3 decades plus. I've been doing this for a really long time. And I love it. And it's very, very hard to walk away from it. And the people that I work with and the job that I have that I wanted for so goddamn long. But I'm really, really good at it too. And my manager is very upset that I'm not going to be there. And I understand that, but they're just going to have to deal. Because as a friend of mine who works for the Social Security Administration but hasn't worked there long enough to even have the option of retiring, she cannot tell them to go fuck off.
Yeah.
She was like, because I was saying how it's so hard to not put them before me, because that's what I do with everything. And she goes, I'm like, I feel like I'm abandoning the people I work with. And she goes, girl, the government abandoned you already.
Absolutely.
You are one of the people that they basically decided they'd rather you leave. And you owe them nothing. And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right.
Yeah, and they do not give a fuck.
They don't know who any of us are. They don't know what my job is. I mean, there's fucking people online.
No.
People are laughing. People are cheering that this is going on. Because, and they're saying things like, what? This happens in the private sector all the time. You guys just gotta nut up and do your fucking job and go into work. Who the fuck do you think you are, sitting at home and not working? If I wasn't working, who's doing my job?
No.
And anyone who has worked at home and in the office knows that when you're in the office, you can't get shit done. I have to walk a half a mile just to get to the fucking bathroom when I'm in the office. There's so much noise. There's so many distractions. I couldn't get shit done there. But at home, I get my work done so goddamn fast. And if you can do your work like what takes other people 8 hours to do, but you can do it in 2, why is it my fault that I have some free time? It's like, isn't it the 8-hour-a-day person's fault for not working efficiently enough, and don't they require more supervision? I'm getting my shit done. So why am I the problem? But, you know, someone who's never worked a goddamn day in his life, he gets to tell us how it's going to be. But I gotta say, when it comes to my agency, that's another thing. There's this whole thing about the workforce going forward is going to be loyal. They don't say to who.
Yeah, fuck that
They
shit.
don't say to who, but we all know who it is, and I
fuck that
will
shit
never.
And Heil Hitler.
As I
shit.
told my father, I was not raised to kiss the ring of a fascist. I will not.
Heil Hitler, girl.
Even
fuck that shit.
even though I don't work for the fucking president. I don't even work for the fucking commissioner. I work for my manager and the manager above that and maybe the manager above that. Nobody farther away than that has any idea what I do. I don't work for them. I work for the entire organization and I work for the country. And I always have. And that's something that most people just could not have any sense of. You know, you have to be a federal employee to understand what that's like. And I will say that my agency can go fuck itself, because even though I have been completely loyal to them and a really good employee for over 30 years, when this email went out, followed by email after email, everything just more insulting and degrading, and things like, no, why don't you go get a private sector job? What was their word? I'm sorry, I have it here. This is a direct quote. The way to greater American prosperity is encouraging people to move from lower productivity jobs in the public sector to higher productivity jobs in the private sector.
Oh, please.
Fuck off. It's like the work that I do is meaningless to these people.
That sounds like an Ayn Rand novel.
Yes! 100%.
And I know, because I was into Ayn Rand when I was in college.
Yeah, for a couple years, yeah. Like a lot of people are like when they're in college.
Yeah, that fucking sounds like an Ayn Rand novel. And yeah, no.
And the reason why my agency can fuck off is that when those emails went out, I know that everyone below commissioner level, I know that all of us, from the guy who is in charge of my entire division, like the agency is divided into major divisions, so like division of labor, different kinds of work. The guy who's way the fuck up there and makes 5 times more money as I do, I know he got the same email I got at the same time as I got it. But no one said anything. The people in my agency who received the emails, the people who are high up enough that they have power and they have a responsibility to all their employees, who can send out all employee emails, those kinds of people, not once did we hear, we're not going to let them talk to you like that. Not once did we hear.
No, of course not.
Yeah, we did not hear, hang in there. We've got a plan to make this work. We didn't hear anything. If they had said, we are making an offer to them that we understand that there is some redundancy and that there is perhaps some wastefulness here and there. We understand. We are going to do I've worked there long enough. I've been through like 2 or 3 reorganizations.
Yeah,
They're always trying different things to see if it's more or less efficient. But, these things are hard to do because you're moving a lot of people around. If they said, we're going to do it internally and we promise you that we will let some people go. We will move things around and make sure there isn't a redundancy. We will make it more efficient. We promise. like, by the end of this many years, we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
Then we would have been like, okay, we're all in this together. I've already been moved around and moved around. I've already been through that.
But Trump and the muskrat are not about, they don't care about the officials. Right. They want to do away with the organization.
They want to destroy the government so that Elon Musk can make, he's already got like over $100 billion of government contracts. Isn't it weird how government waste is just the money that's not going directly to him, and anything that goes to him is important and necessary, but any money that goes to like hungry people, it's like, heaven forbid we give a school kid free breakfast, because that's a waste of money, right? But Elon Musk wants to blow up some more rockets that don't work. Because I have a really hard time believing that SpaceX is as great as he says it is. I see no evidence of that.
The year of personal power!
Attention, bitches and witches.
Please take your places in the circle.
Gather son and gather daughter. Gather earth, air, fire, water. Raise up energy en masse so we can kick some MAGA ass.
The intention of this segment of Year of Personal Power is for all of us to conserve our energy by focusing on what is urgent and, more importantly, doable now. There is a lot of shit happening presently to get us all riled, but we can only do one thing at a time. I have been outraged by just so much in these past 2 weeks that it's hard to keep focused on what I can do now. So for the next 2 weeks, I would ask all of you and myself to affirm, I concentrate my energy on what can be done now. I know it is frustrating. We all want the orange butthole to go away and our country to heal, but there are too many steps to make that all happen immediately. Step by step, we can make it happen. So do not give up or give in to despair. So all repeat after me. I concentrate my energy on what can be done now. Say this over and over to yourself in the next 2 weeks while you are doing what you can to fight against the tyranny of the current regime. We will prevail.
Get inspired! So, yeah, I am the poster child for lack of energy at the moment. It's been really interesting how the plans I've had for these, sermons or whatever they are, how I'd inadvertently written advice for myself every time. I can't decide if that makes me super prescient or if I'm basic as hell. Now, I refuse to believe that I'm basic, so let's go with the first thing. Anyway, as you heard already in this episode, I'm a bit stressed out and frazzled and angry about things. And I do wish I could stop freaking out for numerous reasons. One, because I'm making a major life change and need to keep my head, but mostly because I'm exhausted by it all. Being scared or angry or even just distracted can sap your energy in a big way. Our bodies can spike in adrenaline and cortisol just from the activity in our brains. And when our baseline levels for those hormones is high because our stress levels stay high, over time this can really mess with our health, mental and physical. And maybe you've got a bit of this going on too. The news is chaotic, uncertain, and raging. Eventually, we all will be directly affected by this shit. We need to get this under control ASAP before we do damage. We've talked before about mindfulness and meditation and self-care. But like most things, it's more effective to limit exposure ahead of time than to handle symptoms afterwards. So let's focus on the root cause, which is, well, focus. Think of your personal energy expenditure like the electric devices in your home. If you wanted to reduce your spending on electric bills, what do? You turn off the lights when you leave the room. You unplug things you aren't using. You don't spend energy on things you don't need, which narrows electricity usage to just what's important. So what does that mean for your personal energy? Think about what you burn your personal electricity on that isn't needed. Things that bring you joy, you need them. Information you're using in the moment for a legit purpose, very important. But do you need the minutia and pundit analysis of the daily doings of Elon Musk and the Funyun bunch? Not likely that you need that. Do you need to see on-the-ground images of what's happening in Gaza? Yeesh, I bet you don't. Do you need to hear Trump's voice or see his stupid face? Yuck, no. So consider taking that fire hose of news that's blasting your soul every day and replace it with the gentle sprinkle of a watering can or the targeted spray of a water pick. Am I good at analogies or what? For the next few days, notice what you're paying attention to and do a quick mental audit. Is it necessary? No? Turn it off. Cut way back on the news. And doom scrolling. In this economy, our attention is big money for these rich assholes, so don't give it to them. Conserve your attention and conserve that energy. And conserve your energy to focus your power on what matters. Take action.
Oh my God. We are only 4 weeks into the regime of the orange butthole. And every day is a new stress and new trauma. But as this is a time for us all to focus on what we can do now, and do with what is within our power to do, I am going to focus on just 2 things. I am absolutely sickened by the outrageous dissolution of all things DEI, and I'm even more sickened that it is spread beyond just those agencies or organizations that our current administration can directly control. I mistakenly believe that universities and corporations would stand up and refuse to bow down to this blatant attempt to bring back the discrimination of old. As you all know, I was dead fucking wrong. Universities, businesses, and even the Stonewall National Memorial were ordered to remove all traces of DEI. Did you know about the latter? The Stonewall Memorial was ordered to take out the TQ from LGBTQ, their website, and I assume their plaques on, in person. Now just read LGB. This is bullshit. It was trans people and drag queens that made the riot at Stonewall happen. It was Sylvia Rivera and brave trans folk that got beaten and mocked while they were out giving speeches, protesting and being strong. All gay people owe the freedoms we have now to the trans people of the Stonewall era. I know that I am preaching to the choir here regarding my anger, which brings us to the question of what can we do? Well, one thing, is to support local minority-owned businesses and stop giving money to companies that have rolled back their DEI initiatives. Companies like Walmart, Target, McDonald's, Amazon, to name just a few, have all abandoned diversity programs. I know, it's next to impossible to avoid spending at some of these businesses, but it is possible to cut back on our spending while searching for businesses who reflect our values. The NAACP website has a Black Consumer Advisory page that is, as of now, very small, but I expect it to grow as the folks that run the site find more companies to support. This is a good resource. Also, the Advocate website has a list of companies and restaurants that have abolished their diversity programs. That seems quite extensive, unfortunately. I will share the links for these in our Bitchin' Boutique blog, but I'm happy to say that Costco told the Trump administration to basically fuck off and has retained all aspects of their diversity and inclusion policies, as has Apple, Delta Airlines, and JP Morgan Chase, to name a few. And in the meantime, let's hope that hiring policies will be the same, despite the ass-kissing move of removing DEI on the books. Lame. As far as our sick and cruel government goes regarding trans issues, there is little we can do to change policy other than vote in upcoming elections. 2 years away? Fuck. Too long. But there you go. But we can all do this now. And this is very, very important. Reach out to your trans friends or even acquaintances so they know that they are valued and loved and visible. I have 2 trans friends in Texas and 1 here in San Jose, and they are confused and frightened by what is going on. Just be there and show them love. A phone call, a lunch, so they know they are not isolated. Go to a drag show. Go to a drag brunch. They are all over. In fact, there was just 1 here in San Jose. Show your love and support, even if it's inconvenient for you to go. Think of how important showing up and how validating that support is. And I know drag is not at all the same as trans, but there is enough overlap in the community to make this valid. Also, read about resources for trans folks so you are able to share that with friends if they are in need. I shared some resources in the blog links. Also, go out and meet people. Contact your Opal LGBT Community Center and get your homebound ass to an event. You may even enjoy it. And that is a message to myself. And probably to you too. So let's all channel our inner Ellen and be kind. Reach out. And to all my trans brothers and sisters. See, I'm getting emotional. God damn it. To all my trans brothers and sisters, you are important. I see you, and you will not be erased from history or society, and you will be listed at Stonewall again.
Touch grass. Winter isn't quite over yet, but there are probably hints of spring where you are. You likely have a deciduous tree near you, in your yard or on your block, that dropped most or all of its leaves last autumn or in the early winter. This time of year, you can start to see buds on the branches, the beginnings of new leaves or even flowers. Plants that died off for the winter are peeking through the dirt and snow and showing signs of life again, especially bulbs like crocus or tulip or daffodil, sending up their little shoots. Now, I grow a native type of honeysuckle that's super hardy here in the winter, and I just noticed the first blooms this week. And if you see some flowers, you might even notice a bee here and there. Maybe there's a certain type of bird that you only see in the warm months. One day soon you'll notice one outside your window. Where I live, there are 5 or 6 types of birds that we have year-round. But when spring comes, the red-winged blackbirds begin to show up. I always hear them before I see them. And that little family of cardinals that nest in the oak behind me, I know their song anywhere. And when things start getting extra chirpy, and you can tell the birdies are getting all Twitter-pated, spring is happening. The world is crazier than usual right now. Chaos is swirling around our heads and threatening to knock us off balance. Give yourself time to be in your body, to give your mind a chance to chill. Take a walk or just step outside. Find some signs that spring is coming. Use all of your senses to ground yourself. Feel the sun on your face. Inhale the crisp, cool air, and see if you can detect the earthy smell of new growth. Look for buds on branches, plants breaking through the soil to find sunlight. And if you hear birds, look for them in trees, on fences, or rooftops. Let the coming of spring remind you that change is constant, but usually follows a reliable pattern. Let the renewal and resilience of the natural world inspire you to stretch and awaken to new possibilities.
Reflections and journaling. So, for the Journal and Reflect this episode, I was very struck by Amelia's notes in our pre-episode things that we send to one another to prepare. And she said, don't give your energy to bullshit when you need to focus it like a beam of light on what's important and productive. That may have been an illustrative statement on our intent for this segment, but it is also so appropriate for what I'm about to present. We are visiting the tarot card of the Magician for this episode's journaling focus. He is powerful, knowledgeable, but also a trickster. When he appears in a reading, he is either a sign of you being on the right path or a sign of your ego getting in control and a warning that you are in for a fall. Are you prepared for what you are getting into? What are your talents? What are your strengths? What do you want to do? And do you have the wherewithal to do it? The Magician is a call to seek out new knowledge when needed, be aware of our personal strengths, and use them to achieve the goals that we set for ourselves. In the context of the orange butthole, the alleged president of our country, how are we using what we have to fight, to oppose? We are in the biggest age of disinformation ever. What are we reacting to? Everything is designed to confuse and piss us off, and we need to see through the bullshit to fight the root causes of our angst. The Magician is here to help, but he is very present in the world to trick us as well. One explanation for this dynamic is the Magician is one who manipulates appearance to gain power. Sound familiar? Don't let it fool you. Grow, research, Learn through the disinformation. Even negative press about our enemy can be false and distract us from what is really threatening us. We need to be aware of deception and also of our true innate powers and talents to do good and get us through this. Meditate and focus on your personal passions. Your passions will lead you to the ways you can be most effective because they will be authentically you and not a reaction to, dare I say it, fake news. The Magician is about your experience, your knowledge, your strength. Take some time to think about your authentic concerns with what is going on, not just reactions to the news or to your gas bill, but your soul reactions. What issues concern your heart the most? Focus on those. Focus on the concept of the Magician and write about how you can put your life experiences to best use. Door-to-door canvassing? Not for me, but maybe for you. Letter writing? Volunteering at an immigrant's health center? Volunteering at Planned Parenthood? All these are possible and valuable. But what is best for you? Think and write about your concept of a wise, powerful magician and how you can embody that in your own personal way. I'm including some tarot card magician images in the blog to help spark your imagination. And always, please email with insights or questions. Happy journaling! I had a fantasy yesterday about Musk and Trump. I want them to go
off of a cliff
and be deposited into the middle of a shantytown slum in Mexico City with no money and no nothing.
Yeah.
And forced to survive for a month.
Oh, God.
And see
earn
how
some money to pay your way around.
And see how they fucking come out of that experience.
How many dicks are they going to have to suck to make enough money to have a place to sleep?
Because I'm sorry, I just took the bus through. But I saw one of those slums once.
Yeah.
And I was fucking horrified. I didn't even know that was real. Right. Until I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
I think Trump needs to seriously go. You have no fucking money. You have no fucking card.
Yeah.
Here you are with your fat, ugly old ass without your hair dye.
Oh my God, if someone's not there to put on his bronzer, what would he actually look like?
Yeah, and you were going to go live in this fucking slum for a month. And
we'll see if you're still alive.
And then you're going to tell me how you're going to govern. That's what I want to but it'll never happen. But that's my fantasy.
Oh my God. It was really interesting because before the news article got sent to me that the judge had made his decision, which, by the way, it was this really milquetoast legalese decision about how, federal employees already have methods. If they have complaints, there are people they can complain to if they feel like. And I'm like, you think the people whose job it is to negotiate and to fix things, you think those aren't the first people up against the wall? You think those aren't the first people who are going to get fired? Oh, and I got to make sure that everyone understands. After however many of us quit, they're just going to start firing people.
Oh, I know.
And
I know.
Because they're going to look at it and go, no matter what kind of job you have, I think they're going to think that we don't need any seasonal people. I was seasonal for the first 14 years of my career. And the seasonal workforce, we can't do shit without the seasonal workforce because of the way our workflow goes. We need people. That you can't have a job where you do this for half the year and something completely different for the other half when that work is gone. But they don't understand it because they've never been there. And they don't understand how, kind of like when stores hire more people to work around Christmas, it's that, but on a nationwide office job scale. But I will say this. I happened to be, as I was coming home from therapy today, but you better believe this is what I talked about in therapy. But on my way home, I was listening to The Bald and the Beautiful with Trixie and Katya, which has become one of my absolute favorite podcasts. And I really think, I don't know if I've discussed this with you, but we are Trixie and Katya. I am Trixie, and you are Katya. And I think people who listen to us, if you listen to them too, I think you'll agree with me. But they were talking about fucking Trump and Musk and shit. And they were talking about, like, what makes, because they live in Los Angeles, and they're like, there's all these people who are rich and famous, but then there's some people who are just rich. And a lot of those people, they can't walk down the street and automatically get special treatment because no one knows who they are. They're not famous, but like they feel like they deserve it because they're rich. And so they think that a lot of rich people have this strong desire to be famous. They want to be famous. They have everything they could possibly have, but they're not famous, so they can't lord their money over people. And when they said that, it made me realize that people like Donald Trump, although Trump puts his fucking name, he literally licenses his name to put on the side of buildings. Just because his name is on a building doesn't mean he fucking built it or he even owns it.
No.
But he puts his name on shit so that people will know who he is. And in the 80s, there's no reason why everyone in fucking America should know what a real estate guy from New York City. We shouldn't have been able to recognize him, but he was on TV all the fucking time. And Musk, no one should know who the guy who started PayPal is. No one should know who he is. But he wants to be the most famous person who's ever lived. Being the richest person on the planet, not enough for him. He needs to be famous. And now he's going to be famous as the guy who completely dismantled the United States government. And nobody fucking stopped him. So everybody, call your representatives every single day. I want you writing postcards. Postcards are faster than letters. And emails, they can ignore emails, but just write as many postcards as you can and send a few every day. Take cardstock, take whatever you have in your house, cut it into pieces.
Overwhelm their fucking desks.
Take fucking like your cereal box, cut that cardboard into pieces. The colorful side from the outside, that's just the picture on the postcard. The other side, write their address, write a note saying stop this shit, put a stamp on it, mail it. It's a postcard. Everything can be a postcard. You can stick a stamp on anything. You can stick a stamp on your kid and just send them away.
I wish you could put a stamp on a sack of shit, but you can't.
You could draw a picture of a sack of shit. You could rub shit on it. Actually, that would be mean to the postal carrier. People used to wipe their asses with their tax return. I mean, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Of the times when you don't want to touch anything.
Everybody needs to send. Okay, it wouldn't take that much. 2 a week. 2 a week. Put your turds in a little box. Mail 1 to Musk and 1 to Trump every week.
Especially like the little hard ones, the little round ones, It's good stuff.
And I just remember,
my dog shits are way stinkier than human shits. He should get some Loki shits.
Yeah. But just remember in Pink Flamingos when Divine, a.k.a. Babs Johnson, opened up her box and she said, "Oh my God, someone sent me a bowel movement." And then Herbert said, "A turd, Mama. Somebody mailed you a turd."
Oh my God, it would be so wonderful to mail a bunch of turds to the White House.
We should mail a bunch of turds to the White House.
Or, if you take a really, monumentous shit, take a picture of it And just, you don't have to put a return address or anything. You can drive across town and drop it in somebody else's mailbox. There's a lot of streets that have like big cluster mailboxes, and you just put it in the send slot. No one knows who it's from. Just
or your MAGA neighbor next door, put it on their porch so they think they sent it.
And oh my God, the next time that MAGA person in your family or living down the street starts bitching that egg prices are expensive, that fucking thing. Eggs are more important than people to these assholes. So just be sure and gloat. Gloat as hard as you can that they didn't get what they wanted. Oh, do you know that maybe the ICE people who are supposed to be mass deporting people, per ICE employee, I think they might be picking up one person a week? Per ICE person? That's not that many people. Y'all, you know how much money is being paid to not deport that many people?
I know.
And isn't it weird how everyone thinks that immigrants are lazy and just mooch off the system, and yet every time ICE picks someone up, it's in their place of employment? Mm-hmm. Isn't that strange? Yeah. So, fuck MAGA. Fuck Elon Musk, fuck Trump, fuck stupid JD Vance, wherever the hell he is. Yeah. Oh, are we gonna do goods? I don't have anything good.
Oh yeah,
I don't have anything good.
But I just want to say in closing, eat shit, Trump, eat shit, Musk.
I think that's just gonna have to be the way we end every episode for a while, because we did it last episode ends that way. Eat shit. And power to the people. We have to, be sure you join our fucking coven. We need people to focus their energy. We need people to put something out there. Who knows? I might just, my movement, I might, wait, when I'm not working anymore, I can do this for my job. I can fight Trump as my job.
Yes.
I might walk up and down the street singing show tunes for freedom. 'Cause who knows? I mean,
oh my God.
Look at Les Mis.
We can bring back the Cockettes. We can just dress in tacky drag and sing.
Oh my God.
Come on, listen to the lullaby of Broadway. In really tacky drag.
Oh my God.
Let's do it.
Drag queens are going to save us. I think drag is going to be the thing that's going to get the country back to where it should be. Flamey Grant will lead us to freedom. Woo! Thanks for listening. If you enjoy our show, please take a moment to rate and review us wherever you listen.
If you send us a screenshot of your review, we'll send you a Bitchin' Boutique sticker.
Everyone loves stickers. Please subscribe or add us to your favorites wherever you get your podcasts.
Subscribers get new episodes first and are also more attractive.
Drop us a line anytime at PitneyAndAmelia@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you. Okay, and here's the last thing. Eat shit, Trump.
Oh my God. Okay, it definitely went longer than I thought. But, it's good shit. It's good shit.
Did you eat shit, Trump?